Yo, what is up, everybody? Welcome back to the Sports Scoop. Today, me and Keen are going to be going over the film of rookie Jets wide receiver Elijah Moore. So, before we get into the video, again, if you enjoy this type of content, make sure to like and subscribe. We do NFL content almost daily, so we really appreciate all the support we can get. So, getting into his film, really, you can see that Elijah Moore has showed displayed a lot of strengths in OTAs, especially considering one of which is on display is really his ability, like his silky route running, his very good cutting ability, his very good hands, and he really seems to display a decent timing already with Zach Wilson. You saw with a lot of those throws inside, outside, out routes, slant routes. Like he seemed to be Zach Wilson seemed very on point with the throws, but also Elijah Moore seemed to be very sure in his route running and catching ability. Keen, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, obviously we're not doing a film breakdown as you guys can see here, but no, I think Elijah Moore, really what this video is after is why we think this guy can be just one of the most electric receivers. I'm obviously a Giants fan, and I see so much potential in a receiver like him. You obviously know AJ Brown thinks he's going to be that. If you guys saw his emotional reaction to Elijah Moore getting drafted. But I think this could end up being one of the steals of the draft, if not the steal of the draft. Obviously, looking at film here, this guy is so speedy, very, very good cuts. Someone who is just that classic get him the ball in open field, kind of like, to compare it to what the wide receiver that the Giants drafted, Kadarius Toney, kind of you get him out there and he's just so incredibly speedy. But I think at the end of the day, Serge, where you're looking at a wide receiver who the Jets, I think, can use so well with Zach Wilson now. Because I mean, at the end of the day, Zach Wilson has all the weapons now. You have a big receiver in Denzel Mims. You have that kind of under slot receiver in Elijah Moore. But back to Elijah Moore, I just don't see many holes. Coming out of the draft, this guy was one of the obviously projected to go in the second round, which he ended up obviously going in, was taken, behind or after several of those slot receivers like Kadarius Toney, and obviously Jalen Waddle. But I think at the end of the day, I think Elijah Moore has potential to be better than Jalen Waddle. I think Elijah Moore has potential to be one of the best receivers coming out of this class, and we know how strong it was. But just I maybe the video's titled this, but I think this guy's an electrifying playmaker, versatile. I feel like this guy you could even give him the ball, he could run it a little bit. I think he has speed. We obviously saw that from his 40 time, and I think he's going to be a lethal weapon for a Jets organization that needs this player for their rebuild.
Yeah, 100% agree. And I think really the pick of Elijah Moore, in my opinion, was the perfect kind of fit for the Jets kind of roster because we already have seen them really address the boundary wide receiver need with obviously Denzel Mims, but also Corey Davis in free agency. And I think maybe now you need, even with especially James Crowder being a bit injury prone and getting up there in years. I think what the Jets really needed was like kind of like that shifty, like speedy slot receiver who has very good hands and good route running. And given that Mike LaFleur, brother of Matt LaFleur of the Green Bay Packers, he'll probably want to sometimes operate out of a three wide receiver system, and maybe whether that maybe sometimes that'll be for like passing, maybe sometimes they'll be running to create more space in the box. So I think Elijah Moore will really, in my opinion, thrive in that system from day one, especially considering again that Shanahan type of system and that Shanahan type of offense is very friendly to wide receivers like Elijah Moore. That really that system really relies really on those types of receivers that can be that again, like Ian said, get them in space, rely on their strengths, like which Elijah Moore, in my opinion, has many of them. So I think given that Elijah Moore not only has the talent, but also I know you don't associate a lot with the Jets, but also the culture and the organization around them that will also give him a very good chance to succeed.
Yeah, and just kind of back to the point. I think you the way you look at Elijah Moore is, and everyone says it. Oh, small slot receiver, fast. Not Jalen Waddle. Tyreek Hill. And no, I don't think he's that kind of guy. I think he's a more, and I don't want to say not as much of a deep threat as Tyreek Hill because he will be, but I think this is just the classic with the footwork this guy can improve on, which he already has great footwork. If you can get those slant routes and just get him separation from that corner, and just get him in open field, he's just the classic, can get so many yards and be that lethal, 3rd and 2, 3rd and 5. You need, those yards and then get extra. This guy will be perfect for it. Obviously, Serge, as you highlighted, with this entirely new system, more West Coast offense going in to New York, obviously with Salah and obviously, as you said, LaFleur. I think it the potential that Elijah Moore has. And I think some of you don't see is you go to Jets. Oh, wow, this guy, has the coaching, has all that. You've never said that because the Jets unfortunately, just haven't been good for the past several years. But now, assuming this coaching staff works out, which I think it will, and assuming Zach Wilson plans out, I think they both benefit each other, which is a great thing because without Elijah Moore, Zach Wilson won't be as good. And without obviously Zach Wilson, Elijah Moore wouldn't be as good. And I think something interesting is like, what if Sam Darnold was here? How would he affect him? But you have Zach Wilson, a young quarterback who can move and is great at those off-platform throws. So you get Elijah Moore out in space. You let him, run around, kind of audible his own routes to if Zach Wilson's getting pressured. You have a good offensive line in New York, especially on that left side. I think Elijah Moore could be used in sweep passes. Obviously, the I guess the ceiling here and kind of we say it a lot. He's versatile. We say it a lot with these gadget receivers. That's probably we should make merch. When we make merch, that's what we're going to put on it. We say it all the time, but I think every single NFL, whatever you want to say, people who talk about NFL analysts say all that because those receivers like this, we're seeing so many more of them get into the league. Curtis Samuel, you obviously, Debo Samuel, both the Samuel brothers, they're not brothers, both the Samuel, I don't know why I said that, both the Samuel wide receivers. And I think Elijah Moore is going to be like that. And I think he'll be the standout for the Jets. And I think we're looking at a guy who could be the best receiver on a team as a slot weapon. And I know, sir, I completely forgot. We're saying slot a lot. This guy can play outside just as well as he can play in the slot. Obviously, I think the Jets never thought I would say this was have a lot of outside receivers. So I'm assuming Elijah Moore will get, I would say 60-70% of snaps in that slot position, but he just possesses it all. And I'm so excited to watch him play and really watch this Jets offense pan out in the next 5 years.
Yeah, I'm definitely. I mean, you're excited, but as me as a Jets
Yeah,
fan,
exactly.
it's probably the most promising we've been in years. But so, speaking of NFL comparisons, one of the comparisons, sorry, that I might make is a player that actually played under Mike LaFleur last season and was a fellow rookie, Brandon Ayuk of the San Francisco 49ers. I feel like I think that's the type of guy that used to really be utilized because obviously the 49ers have not an amazing amount of weapons, but they still have a decent bit of outside boundary weapons. So I
Right.
feel like Ayuk could, Moore could be used in a similar way that Ayuk was used, where maybe he's often used in that slot. Maybe he's used on a lot of inside routes where again, like mesh types of routes that maybe like get him in space, slant types of routes, maybe quick out routes, those types of routes. I think you could really see a lot of similarities in the way Elijah Moore plays this year with the way Brandon Ayuk was used, and he was also sometimes used even on sweeps, like you said, like when Debo Samuel was not on the field. So I really can kind of see that similarities, especially considering this is the exact same coordinator that
Right.
Moore will be using.
Exactly.
Moore will
Yeah.
be under
Mhm.
that Ayuk was under when Mike LaFleur was the passing game coordinator in San Francisco. So
Mhm.
I really think that Moore has potential to like be not only like an eventual very good wide receiver, which I think he will be, especially considering the much bigger emergence of slot wide receivers from just like maybe a role player to like more of like can be like a centerpiece of an offense, and combine that with the fact that like maybe with a good coaching staff, I feel like he could maybe even be an immediate impact player in this Jets offense, especially considering the fact that how well he's shown a connection with his quarterback Zach Wilson.
Yeah, I think no doubt this guy will be immediate impact. I'm thinking we've seen the connection that Elijah Moore and Zach Wilson have had already, and I think it's gonna go right out into the season. I think this guy will be an immediate impact player. And again, Ayuk was kind of an iffy guy taken later, didn't go to a huge college, but ended up being amazing. Obviously, a tiny bit of injury, kind of toward midseason. And Elijah Moore seems like that, but not many injuries. I mean, at least I haven't heard about injury concerns from Elijah Moore. Thank God he hasn't got injured yet. And I think a big thing and I think a big step or a big hurdle he has to get over to kind of solidify as that guy to watch for this New York Jets offense is obviously training camps with the actual starting already veterans on that Jets team. We saw him in OTAs play well against the rookies, kind of get accustomed to this offense. But going up, I know the Jets corners are not amazing. No disrespect to them, but the Jets do not have a great secondary, but still going up against guys who have been in the league for more than a year will be a big test for him. Obviously, it's not like going into a regular season game because, I guess the intensity won't be as much there. They're not trying to injure each other, hit each other as hard as they would an opponent. But I think Elijah Moore is still going to show out. Who knows if he plays amazing, then maybe we make another video saying why Elijah Moore will be the best receiver ever in the NFL. But I
I
mean, unlimited potential for this guy, and I see high ceilings. I think the Jets fans need to be excited. I think both New York teams are going to the season strong. The Jets maybe a step behind, but I think getting
Mm.
this guy, I think, you want a guy like this for a rebuild. You want a fast slot receiver who can line up inside, outside, even in the backfield. I think, perfect for what the Jets want to do.
Yeah, just to close it out, I think I have to 100% agree with you in the fact that like training camp will really be his first test again, even if it's not like obviously the high intensity of a regular season game. It's still going to be much different going against like a much higher level competition than he was in the Pac-12 with actual NFL cornerbacks. I know, like you said, and I agree with the Jets cornerback core isn't exactly elite, but I still think obviously it will be a test for him, and I think given that he has had multiple tests and obviously he has played in the SEC, I don't know why I said the Pac-12 earlier. I think he will be ready for it. I think I'm very excited to see that him hopefully ball out in training camp.
You heard it here from a Jets fan. We're excited, a Giants fan as well. So you can take our word. There wasn't too much bias. It was about 50-50. But
Yeah, yeah.
thank you guys so much for watching. As always, if you did enjoy, do make sure to subscribe to the channel. Obviously, helps out so much. Going into the summer, we're done with school, so you guys can expect a lot of content hopefully coming out, although, we have other things to do. Buster Boom series will continue. Obviously, we took a bit of a hiatus, about a week or so. If you guys are new, Buster Boom videos where we basically do an outlook preview for each NFL team going to the 2021 NFL season, key players, basically talking about what players will impact them, and then giving our record prediction. We did the Cowboys, not the Cowboys, we did the Washington football team and the Giants. We always start with the NFC East, and now we are doing the Cowboys and Eagles. Both of those videos have been recorded, so they will be coming out within the next week or so. So make sure to click that bell button so you do not miss out on that. Like the video. We'll see you next time. This is the Sports Scoop, Elijah Moore. Big things coming.